I bought some ad space so you don't have to see some boring ads. So instead, here's a video. Alright, you got the job. Oh, nice. Wait, what am I supposed to do first? Well, to be honest, you're basically a lifeguard. Wait, what? But I'm not qualified life-saving. Yeah, so you're basically a lifeguard. Okay, well, I get that, but like, why not hire an actual qualified lifeguard? Tax reasons. Anyways, have fun keeping people alive. What? Hey guys. So just after I graduated high school a few years ago, I decided I wanted some money and started going summer job hunting, you know, as per usual among folks around that age. And given where I lived, I had a truly wide selection of places I could apply to. And what may those places be, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you totally asked that, person who's looking at me judging what I say. I had the classic summer job choices of library, other library, a library that was like 45 minutes away by car, the ice cream shop, a family job, or working at one of the 2 pool clubs nearby. And now, I'm not saying that there's pretty much nothing going on where I live, I'm just heavily implying it. And given my options, I thought it wouldn't hurt to give my choices a bit of thought. And that brings us to my highly subjective criteria for choosing a job. Oh, and by the way, yes, I did make the name myself. I'm very proud of it. Criteria 1. The place I work cannot be on the list exactly 3 times across different workspaces. And they also can't have never gotten back to me when I submit my application like 3 months early. So... get out of here, library. Reading's for people who make good decisions in their life. Whew. Glad I got that out of me. Almost came across as bitter or something. Criteria 2. The place I work cannot tempt me with ice cream and not expect me to value that over paltry things such as the fact that I'm an employee, not a customer. I'm sorry, but ice cream must remain a rare treat. And that brings us to the final point on our list. Criteria 3. I will specifically not work at the family job. And by using that formula, I was able to whittle down my options to just the 2 pool clubs and the local pharmacy that I purposely did not mention before because I was like 40% sure a friend who knew how to embarrass me worked there. And like I said before, we had 2 pool clubs within working distance that I could apply for. So in a moment of high schooler prophetic foresight, I sent applications to both of them. One of the places was a sweet pool club that was actually a pretty popular choice for summer jobs around town. And the other one that I inevitably expect I'd end up having to go to was seriously understaffed, and almost everyone who went there were what we like to call the snooty, hoity-toity type. The only problem, though, is that there's this thing that happens when you apply for a summer job. It's called both places being full on staff because everyone else wants a job too. And that's not fun. Luckily, I was able to talk to my father and see if he had any advice. Then, after he reached his connections and poked around the company a bit, there was a job opening. Conveniently, without any reason for concern. And surprisingly, it was at the snooty pool club. Though I guess there's a silver lining given that I was right about where I'd have to work. But a few weeks and some legal forms later, and I was off to the pool. Except, you know, in professional way. The place was laid out pretty simply. The central building where people could hang out away from the sun's thermal melting rays. The outdoor pool where the entirety of my job took place. And the beach where nobody worked because the ocean is a cruel void of fathomless depths that even seasonal workers can't hope to negotiate with. And the first thing I noticed when I got there was... I only have 1 coworker? Yep, you heard right, folks. A whole pool club to manage for the entirety of the summer, and I only had 1 other person to help deal with more than 30 people at the pool at a time, visiting every day from 9:30 to 6. So whoop-de-friggin' do. Though I do gotta say, our boss was actually a pretty laid-back person. He'd stop by sometimes to check on how the work was going, help us out if something was giving us trouble, and, most importantly, they'd let us say words back to any of the visitors who tried to push us around or be rude to us. A truly grand rare thing in the world of summer jobs. As long as we were listing off company policy. And oh boy, that was a job perk I was fully prepared to use. But for now, that's a story for another day. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'm sorry that I didn't get to the full story today. The script turned out way longer than I thought it would be. I'm hoping to make part 2 of this be my video for next month, but until then, I guess all I can say is see ya!